Hey everyone, and welcome back to the most procrastinating channel on YouTube. Before we start the video, I'm just gonna say for the viewers from the previous video, yeah, I told you, I'm gonna jinx myself, so I'm not gonna say what it was. I'm just gonna let you watch the previous video to find out, but yeah, it wasn't good. So, you know Fist of the North Star, Ken's Rage for the oh my god, not the PS2, PS3 actually. This game is from 2010 and I just played it. I actually played it like a couple of months ago. Well, I finished it a month ago and I was just procrastinating on this review, to be honest. But yeah, so Fist of the North Star, Ken's Rage. Honestly, it's a pretty good game, but I have a couple of issues with it. I'm gonna tell you exactly what it is. So the story starts off with Kenshiro stumbling upon a village, and the villagers of that particular village capture him. This takes place during the apocalypse, so there's no water, there's no food, these resources are very low, and soon after they capture him, they take him to prison, and we get this girl character which comes to his aid. The only thing he wants is like water. He doesn't care that he's in prison, basically. And I'm like, what? Okay. So the girl brings him water, and soon the village actually gets attacked by a group of bandits. That's like the bandits of Zed, if that tells you anything. Soon we actually find out that our main character Kenshiro is actually not as weak as we might have thought. So that's pretty cool. I think the whole intro is absolutely fantastic, and that intro I believe it's actually in every Fist of the North Star media. I'm not sure about that because honestly, like, the games are the only Fist of the North Star related stuff that I've actually watched and played, basically. So, but after this introduction, to be honest, the rest of the story is absolutely disappointing, and it's honestly the way they have told it, because most of the story is very heavy. You have a lot of plot elements in it, you have a lot of stuff happening in it, and they have chosen the route of Dynasty Warriors type of storytelling, which is fine to a certain point, but you can't tell enough to us, the viewers, which is a huge problem. For example, when you start the story, it starts off with a male voice narrating what's happening, kind of getting you in the story, which this is cool.
Now only violence and despair remained. The strong ruled the streets with an iron fist.
I'm fine with that. The thing I'm not fine with is actually the way they've told some of the most important moments. They have told some of these very important moments during the gameplay.
You can't fool us just by taking off your helmet! We know who you are! You're a monster!
I understand your anger. I feel it too. I will make sure he knows your pain.
Which is very bad. Because you're like concentrating on playing the game and beating up people, and they're talking about what happens, but you don't get any visuals. It might have worked in Dynasty Warriors, but not in this game. Okay, another thing about the story is that it feels very rushed. I don't know why, it feels like they go over things too fast. Like, for example, you have one stage per villain or one chapter per villain, which is, it sounds okay, but it's actually not okay, because the story of the characters is very complex, it's very nuanced, it's very colorful in its manga, in its original form. So you just get these underwhelming villains, you kind of fight them in every chapter, which is a cool concept, but when you don't have enough cutscenes to support the story that you're trying to tell, it just doesn't work good. So yeah, the story is terrible. I did not enjoy it because I previously played Ken's Rage 2. Actually, Ken's Rage 2 is the first game I've played from the two games. Maybe that soured my experience, but coming back to the first game, it feels like it's very rushed, and honestly, if I didn't play the second game, I think I wouldn't have understood what happens in the first game, which is not a good sign. But one thing that this game has better than the second one, in my opinion, is that at least it has English voice acting, which can be kind of funky. I don't think that the English dub was the best, to be honest. I kinda liked it because I'm not a native English speaker. I'm a foreign person, so for me it's easier to actually hear the English voice acting. I don't mind the Japanese. I've played the second game, the entire bunch of it, so I've enjoyed that. Honestly, the English voice acting, although I can understand more of it, it actually dumbs down the emotional impact of the story, which is not a good thing, but at least you have the option between the two, so that's cool. And yeah, I'm just very disappointed by the story, which kind of sucks. And so now about the gameplay. Actually, the gameplay is a little bit more different than Dynasty Warriors. It's unlike Dynasty Warriors. It's actually more like a beat 'em up style type of game, which I found very refreshing, especially for these anime-based Dynasty Warrior games. They usually follow one format, and yeah, I was expecting the same thing from this game, but honestly, the levels are actually very open, and sometimes you have paths that you actually need to come back to the chapter later to be able to do, which is okay, it's pretty cool. But basically the gameplay works as a usual Dynasty Warrior game. You have the basic movements and attacks. You have the light punch, heavy punch combo type of attacks. At first, I actually thought that the combat was very bad and very clunky because it felt very slow. But as I played it more and more, I really liked it. I don't know why, but this slow combat, it's actually very impactful, and the sound effects that you do, like when you punch somebody, you can feel him getting punched just by the sound of it. And when you punch somebody, the whole game stops for a second. Oh my god, I don't know. It feels very impactful, very heavy, which I felt it was adding a lot to the fight style that Kenshiro uses, like the Hokuto Shinken. It's supposed to be very impactful. So yeah, that was very cool. And you can also like grab enemies, you can jump attack. Sometimes you can make some really crazy combos with some of the characters. For example, I was playing as Bowser and I was doing this crazy air combo that it was like so broken that I don't know. You have a lot of more options during combat, which I found very cool. You can also like pick up weapons and use weapons a lot more often, and they're also pretty broken. Like for example, if somebody is guarding and you use a weapon, you instantly break their guard, and the weapons give so much damage to your opponents that it's kind of like a cheat to use them. I don't know how to explain it. Other thing that you have during gameplay, you can actually throw your opponents to walls, and you actually get breakable environments, which are actually part of the game. If you use the breakable environments, you can actually get your rage meter filled up faster, which is a pretty good idea, but you're usually gonna just make this by accident, just by punching dudes. They're gonna be sent flying and they're gonna break walls and break stuff around you, which is pretty cool. Another thing that surprised me was that you can ride bikes as well. You have a couple of places where you can ride the bikes. You can use them for faster transportation. You can also ride Rao's horse, which is pretty neat. But I think that was all that there is to the gameplay. The gameplay felt much more platform based at times, which is very weird because the platforming in this game does not work whatsoever. It's very terrible, it's very clunky. And when you get a section where you have to jump on a couple of cars just to get across a section, it feels like a little bit forced. It's like, why don't you just let me punch these guys? I don't want to jump on cars to get through this section untouched. Like, the platforming does not feel good to be satisfying. It's very bad. I think that's enough for the platforming. It's just bad. The other thing you have in the game, which I like, and I know that the second game does not have this, is the upgrade tree. What was it called? You have the Meridian chart, which is like this upgrade tree type of upgrade system, which I actually find to be very good. I actually love this upgrade tree system. I think it's better than the sequel, and yeah, I think the upgrade system is very cool. The only thing I don't like about it is that usually when you upgrade your character, there's a couple of points where you reach this, I don't know what it's called, but it's basically like a upgrade lock, which doesn't make any sense. It's basically made to make you wait on certain upgrades, which is just annoying. You just let me upgrade my stuff as I want. Don't use upgrade locks. It's fucking annoying. Okay, just don't fucking do that in your games. Nobody wants that. You're just wasting my time with that. And as I said, some of the characters are completely broken. Like these Nanto characters, they have two forms of attacks. You can enter the Nanto form, which I'm just gonna say like that, the Nanto state. Some of these characters are completely broken, like Ray. If he's in his Nanto state, you can actually perform aerial juggle combos, which is pretty cool, and they use auto aim to kind of keep you on track. Oh my god, the combos you can do in these states, it's like, damn. Some of these Nanto characters, when they enter this state, they are completely broken, which in my opinion is pretty fun. I'm fine with broken characters. I usually have a lot of fun with these whenever they appear in whichever game, so I'm fine with that. Overall, yeah, the gameplay feels good, kind of, but you really need to get warmed up to it, because otherwise it will feel just sluggish and slow, and actually with the upgrades you kind of upgrade the speed of your character as well, which I don't think is really that good, because you start off really slow and you feel like the rest of the game is very slow, which is not the case. So, and as I said, you get these open stages during the chapters. I think it's a cool concept, but it's not done very well. So yeah.
The terrible legend of Ken-Ho begins here.
Well, as for the visuals, there's not much to say. It actually looks pretty on par with most of the PS3 games. In my opinion, it looks good. Sometimes it kind of looks overexposed at some locations, but that's just my thoughts about it. I've seen much worse looking PS3 games, so in my opinion it looks pretty good. Sadly, the frame rate of this game is very unstable, just as for most PS3 games. Yeah, as I said, the visuals are not anything special, but they're not like the worst I've seen. I've seen way worse. Yeah, as far as music goes, to be honest, I love the music. I think the music in Dynasty Warrior type games, it's always great. I don't know which composer they use, but the guy does the job and it's really good. And like, if you hear the main theme of the game is so fucking good. I love it. I love it, every single second of it. Actually, you know what? The music is fantastic. I absolutely love it. I think that some of these tracks are so iconic. I don't know if they follow the original music from the anime, but I absolutely love this soundtrack. This one and the second game soundtrack, fantastic stuff. Absolutely, hands down, amazing. So, after beating the game, you actually have a couple of more modes to play. First off, after beating Legend mode, which is the number one thing you're gonna do, you know, this is the main sauce of the game. Legend mode has a couple of story modes in it. The first one is Kenshiro's story, which is the main story of the game. Basically, the rest of the story modes are actually of Toki, of Rei, Rao, which is surprising, and Mamiya. So you have 5 main storylines that you can play. They kind of intertwine with each other, and you can get like different perspectives on the stories that the characters have, which is pretty good. So after beating the main storyline, which is the Legend mode, as I said, you get to play Dream mode, and Dream mode is a all new type of story mode. It was created by Koei themselves, and it's kind of like a what if scenario, which is pretty cool. Like, you get moments like, what if the Nanto, all of the Nanto generals actually were buddy with each other and fought the Hokuto style. The story is kind of interesting, but it's all told in a way that it's just a dream. It's hard to explain, but basically there's this character which is obviously Yuria. Everybody's gonna know that. I don't think it's a spoiler. Anyways, you have this character that comes to each character in story, and it takes you to this different dimension and this different story, which is the dream mode basically. As I said, you have like the Hokuto versus Nanto storyline, which is, I didn't understand if it felt like it was a connected story to each other, like it wasn't canon, but dream mode was connected with each character as like one whole dream mode. It wasn't unique for every character. It felt like it was a story that they could have told. So basically Dream Mode is a fictional version of the Fist of the North Star story. That's the best I can do to explain it. Dream Mode actually takes much more from Dynasty Warriors, like you get the bases that you can take over and you have the objectives during the game. Overall, Dream Mode is basically Dynasty Warrior type game, you know, if you were missing that. I mean, it's not like there's like 20 Dynasty Warrior games to play, just why not one more? And also during Dream Mode you can actually play 2-player. Oh, that's something that I didn't mention. You cannot play Legend Mode in 2 players. You can only play Dream Mode with 2 players, which it kind of sucks, but I can understand why they did it, so it's fine. Okay, so for Dream Mode you actually have quite a lot of characters. First off, of course, you have Kenshiro, which is obvious. Then you have Jagi's story mode, you have Mamiya's story, you have Rao, Rei, Shin, Zaozer, Toki, and I think that's mostly it. To be honest, that's a lot of content, and each of these dream modes are completely different. Like, they are personalized to each character, so if you want the full story you have to play with each character. It's not like a throwaway content. It's not like you choose Jagi and you play with Jagi and Amiibo the same story. It's an individual storyline for each character, which is absolutely crazy for an anime-based license game, in my opinion. So yeah, and yeah, this game took a lot of time to complete. So with each character you have like a 4 chapter. Some of them have more chapters than others, but it's usually 4 chapters per character, which these chapters, they take like half an hour, sometimes even more. So these chapters are very long. You get like maybe, let's say, 2 hours per character at least. And yeah, that's a lot of side content. Some people might not even bother to do, which is kind of crazy. And after you complete this dream mode, you also have challenge mode, which is much more simplified. Like, you have 2 challenges. It's the Hokuto challenge and the Nanto challenge, which is basically a boss rush of sorts. I honestly did not play through it. I got the platinum trophy for the game, which is cool, but I did not play through the challenge mode. I tried it out and I kind of understood what it was, but to be honest, I was not very interested in it, so I just decided to skip it, which I mean probably doesn't sound very hype, but yeah, I mean that's it. Yeah. I basically skipped it. Okay, so overall the game is actually, I would say it's good, but honestly the story kills it. I actually think that the dream mode story is much more fleshed out than the main story. Yeah, they just skipped so much of the main story. There's like characters missing, there's situations missing, there's like whole chapters missing from the story, which really brings down the character development of the game, and the characters feel very washed out, at least some of them. I hope you understood the whole story while playing it, because it's so so rushed. It just feels very rushed. But to the developers' credit, like I don't know if Omega Force or Koei did this, to their credit, the story it is very complicated to be told in a linear manner. Yeah, in their defense, there's a lot of story that they tried to cover. Is Fist of the North Star, basically from the beginning till the Rao saga. Like they tried to tell the whole story in one go, which is not a very good idea, especially when the story between Kenshiro and Shin, you can make that very easily into a 5-hour game. There's just so much content in that alone, and then the story between Kenshiro and Jaggy is so complex. Then Amiiba comes along, then it's like you go after Toki, but Toki turns out to be your friend. It's so convoluted that I don't believe that they could just fit everything in one game. Well, that's what I thought before playing the second game. So yeah, overall the story is very lacking. The gameplay is pretty good. It grew on me. Actually, the gameplay was the thing that I felt that it was going to be bad at first, but then it Uno reverse card, and it happened that the story is pretty bad but the gameplay is really good, which I did not expect. It just happened. So I guess, as I said, the gameplay was pretty good. I found it to be very nice, and I like the open world nature of it, to be honest, which I thought I wouldn't say, but yeah, I like the open levels, I like the empty areas, I like the vistas that this game provided. Like you get the desert type of levels and you ride a bike in them. The emptiness in the game feels right. Like sometimes you're just gonna be running to your next destination and you're gonna be like, wow, this really feels like the apocalypse happened. There's nobody in these areas. It feels empty, it feels depressing at points, which is weird to say. Just the feel that this game gives you is sometimes very unnerving. But yeah, when the action happens, you get great music, you get absolutely heavy hitting combat. It feels like you get punched sometimes. You get actually pretty good characters which were sadly underdeveloped because of the story, but I mean, what can you do about it? Also, you get a very hefty legend mode, which is, as I said, very underwhelming. And then you get the absolute beast of a dream mode, which is pretty fun to play, and you actually get more fleshed out characters, which is very weird, but I think that happened because it's actually an original story mode and they could just say their story at their pace, and that's why it actually is better than the legend mode. And yeah, the challenge mode, I just didn't bother with that. So yeah, overall I would say that the game is fine, but you might want to play the second one just for the story. So yeah. And yeah, sorry if my voice cracks a lot. I don't know what happened. I was just fine at the beginning of the week, and now I feel like I'm getting sick, which is not okay, but it is what it is.
These fists have seen more than you can imagine.
Side note. Okay, I'm gonna use the side notes section to say Bowser is a broken AF character. Goddamn, the aerial combos that I can do with that guy it's absolutely crazy. Like, what the fuck? You can just see on screen this combo. Maybe I've played it a couple of times, I'm not sure, but holy fuck! You can do some crazy stuff in this game. Another thing, Toki, another broken character. Like, you can take off half of the screen with absolutely no pressure. Oh my god, his fireball attack, like, it covers like the front and the back of you, and then after that it covers like left and right, so you basically get almost a full screen effect, one hit kill on all of the enemies. I mean, you can wipe out at least 30 enemies just by doing this attack, and when you spam it constantly, it's like, what the hell is going on? Oh yeah, another thing about Toki, when you're playing as the sick version of Toki, I'm so glad that they didn't use that in the dream mode. Like, it's very interesting that in the main story you get a version of Toki that's like sick, and when you fight he gets this cough, which is very annoying. Like, you'll be fighting a couple of guys and Toki all of a sudden gets this cough and he's like this is like a stun lock move that you get locked in this animation, you can't do anything about it, which is very stupid because it leaves you open for like at least 1 or 2 seconds, which is a lot in this game. Like, you can get hit very easily, which very much sucks. And then you get this young version of Toki, which is the not sick one, which I kind of found cool, but it was annoying that you get this caught with the best costume of Toki, so it's a double-edged sword when you do that type of stuff in your game. So yeah, I was not a big fan of the caught thing. The caught. I cannot say caught. That sucks. Well, okay. I think that's all for this video. I'm gonna see you next time with some more Ken's Rage or Naruto or whatever I'm gonna play. Hopefully you're still watching these videos. I know that they take a lot of time to make. I cannot give any promises from now on, so yeah, I'm not gonna promise anything. I'm just gonna end it here. So if you like this video, click the like button, and if you want to see more of this content, click subscribe. The reason why I'm saying these things is because YouTube added this cool animation to when you say subscribe, so I just want to use that in my videos. Yeah, so yeah, if you like the video, you know what to do, and I'll see you in the next one. I'm better now, so thank you for watching, thank you for being here. Also, did you think about that? This game is from 2010, which I feel like it's still close. When you think about it, 2010 was 14 years ago. What the hell? GTA 5 was released 11 years ago. What the hell? Feels kind of heartbreaking. Goddamn. Okay. See you in the next video. Bye guys. Thanks for watching.